Up next on End of the Day Beer Review, we're going to be looking at Parabolita. This is a salted caramel bourbon barrel-aged stout with vanilla beans, cocoa nibs, and sea salt. It's coming in at 9.2% ABV, and it's by Firestone Brewing Company. Hi, it's Rich, and welcome to End of the Day Beer Review. If you're new, welcome. A lot of new subscribers to the channel recently. Really appreciate your sub, and so glad you're here. Today, we are looking at Parabolita. This is a salted caramel bourbon barrel-aged stout with vanilla beans, cocoa nibs, and sea salt, and it's coming at 9.2% ABV. Now, I did not buy this. This came into my house on one of the holidays, and I just never got around to trying it out. I'm going to be using my trusty Guinness glass so we can see the beer. Let's crack this one open. Now, I'm expecting dark, because it is a bourbon barrel-aged stout. Let's see how it pours. I have to say, I have been sort of surprised by the stuff that came out of Firestone in the past where it hasn't been the color I expected, so let's see. No, good. It's a dark brown. Not quite as dark and viscous as I thought it would be, but it's pretty much in that dark stout range, which is nice. Even with what I think was sort of a crappy pour, dark body, about finger and a half worth of tan head. You know, nice looking beer. And I have to tell you right now, the entire bar is filled with the smell of a really good sweet caramel. Like I'm in a candy shop type of smell. Like that's how sweet it is. Putting it to my nose, I'm getting a ton of vanilla and a ton of caramel. Now, I see those two flavors as sort of connected. Like caramel is sort of like, you know, the vanilla ice cream topping that you put over instead of using chocolate. So I always see them sort of together. But I'm getting vanilla, I'm getting caramel. It actually smells sort of like a nice Ben & Jerry's vanilla ice cream. It really, the nose is so sweet. And it smells just like a Ben & Jerry's vanilla ice cream cone in one of their waffle cones, because you're getting that sweetness too. Oh, this smells wonderful. Let's see what it tastes like. That is exceptionally good. So, not as sweet as I thought it would be, not as viscous. It actually goes down very easy. There's a certain amount of sweetness to it, and that sweetness is there, and it's all in the vanilla and the caramel. The two flavors are sort of intermingled on the tongue. As it goes further into the back of the tongue, you get sort of that roastiness from the stout. There's also a bit of bitterness on the back end of it, which sort of ties everything together nicely. And with the second sip, I'm also getting a good amount of chocolate in here. Very much underlying everything else. So again, caramel, sweetness, sort of that lactose type of sweetness that you get in a beer sometimes. Not quite the consistency of what I would consider a dessert beer. And what I mean by that is it's a little thin. If this was more like an equilibrium pastry stout thickness, you know, that you could pour over ice cream, I think that would work better here. You know what I'm not getting a lot of? I'm not getting a lot of the bourbon. I'm getting sweet, I'm getting dessert, I'm not getting a whole lot of bourbon. Yeah, in fact, I'm getting almost no bourbon at all. It's mostly that sort of sweet vanilla caramel flavor. It's not the sweetness that I associate with a bourbon-aged stout. So a good dessert beer, a lot of vanilla, a lot of caramel. I'm not getting any salt, and I'm not getting a whole lot of bourbon. In fact, I would say there's basically no bourbon. There's maybe just a hint, and I mean just a hint of like a charred note in the background, but I have to be honest, I might just be searching for that and wanting to find it, which is why it's there. That being said, is it a good beer? It's exceptionally good. I do think it's a little thin. I would have liked it to be a little bit more viscous, a little more syrupy. But that being said, it is really, really good. Would I have, without knowing this is bourbon barrel, would I have thought it was bourbon barrel? No. I would have thought caramel, I would have thought vanilla, I would have thought dessert. I would not have thought bourbon barrel aged. Also, I would not think that this is 9% ABV, quite frankly. It drinks like a much lower ABV beer. So, you know, one of those beers that could be dangerous if you're drinking more than one. But, you know, in my opinion, a beer like this at 9% with these sort of dessert qualities, this is a one and done type of beer. Like, you're having this and you're probably not having another drink. And this would be sort of an end of the night sipper. Would I buy it again? Yeah, in a second. This is a really nice dessert stout. A little on the, you know, a little less sweet than I would have expected it to be, but it is a really easy sipping beer. So yeah, would I buy this one again? I would. So this has been Parabolita. It's a salted caramel bourbon barrel aged stout with vanilla beans, cocoa nibs, and sea salt. And I think almost everything there is represented quite well. Not really the bourbon barrel, but everything else. And would I get this again? In a second. It's a really good, solid stout. You know, particularly in the end of the night sort of dessert stout. Definitely one I would pick up, definitely one I would try. And I'm going to sit back and enjoy the rest of this one. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and share, please. And I'll see you next time on End of the Day Beer Review. Cheers.